Welcome back to yet another live stream. We are live for the Champions League round of 16 draw today, which gets underway in 20 minutes. So a massive welcome to all of you. Thank you for tuning in. Make sure you drop a like, subscribe, and if you're watching live, let me know what your predictions are for the draw. It is sort of predetermined. Your potential opponents, if you're involved, is down to two. But let me know your thoughts and feel free to leave a comment if you're watching after the stream as well. Like I say, the Champions League round of 16 draw is coming at us very, very soon. And I've got the predetermined-ish fixtures up next to me here so you can see them. As I say, the actual draw takes place at 11 o'clock. So do get involved. Like I say, drop a like and all of that good stuff. And get involved in the live chat and let me know what you think. So this is obviously the round of 16, which is coming at you straight after the playoffs, which took place in midweek. We have our 8 playoff winners joining the top 8 teams from the league phase. So the possibilities are PSG versus Barcelona or Chelsea, Galatasaray versus Liverpool or Tottenham, Real Madrid versus Sporting or Man City, Atalanta versus Arsenal or Bayern Munich, Newcastle versus Chelsea or Barcelona, Atletico Madrid versus Tottenham or Liverpool, Bodo Glimt versus Man City or Sporting, and Bayer Leverkusen versus Bayern Munich or Arsenal. So yes, the rules have changed in the Champions League from what it was. You can draw a team from your own country at this stage. You can draw a team that you've already played in the league phase, but as I say, it is predetermined, so don't get confused. Have a look next to me and you will know, if you don't already, what the possible outcomes are for your own team. Massive thank you to the 150 people that have already tuned in. Do make sure to drop a like. Go on, it takes 2 seconds. Get involved in the live chat. I'm going to come read your comments out in just 2 seconds. I'm curious to see what you think the draw will be. There's some really interesting possible fixtures here. I mean, if you're a Newcastle fan, the fact you might get Chelsea or Barcelona, you know, Tottenham or Liverpool are going to get Atletico or Galatasaray. Really, really fascinating possibilities here. Bodo Glimt, are they going to get Man City again? Will Man City end up playing Real Madrid? That is their other possibility. Really, really interesting. Let's read out some of your comments. Go on, get in the live chat. Let me see what you guys are saying. Hello to Up the Owls, who says, morning, mate. Good to see you. Aaron Jones says, yo, get involved, guys. Support the channel, says Birchie. This whole system is nonsense, says David. He doesn't like the new Champions League format. It is a little bit confusing. I don't know why they felt they had to change it. Of course, we were all used to the 8 groups. Was it 12 groups or was it 8 groups of 4? And then you had the third place teams that would go into the Europa League. It was a little bit confusing back then, but now they've got the league phase and it involves playoffs, and that's still a bit confusing. Let's read out some more comments. Big up, Matt. I'm a Palace fan, and I'm sure now we can play that free-flowing attacking football now, ... Well, Palace, of course, are involved in the Conference League draw, which comes this afternoon. So I believe we've got the Champions League draw at 11. I think it's the Europa League draw at 12, and then it must be the Conference League draw at 1 UK time. So if your team is Crystal Palace or Nottingham Forest or Aston Villa, you will be tuning in to the draws later on. Thank you once again, though, to the 200 people that have tuned in. Just hit that like button. It really helps the stream if you get involved. And I want to read out your comments before the draw gets underway. It was 8 groups. No, Aaron says he reckons it was 12 groups. I'm trying to remember. There were loads of groups, weren't there? And like I say, the third place team used to get filtered into the Europa League, and then quite often, I suppose, they'd go on and do well in that competition because it is a lesser competition. But yeah, we've got the league phase now, and this is the second season of that. I mean, we know the reason. Come on, surely. The reason they've got more teams involved in the Champions League is for money, and it's more games as well. So look, if you want more games, then you won't be unhappy. But if you want it to be more competitive and have less small teams involved, then you probably do prefer the old format. What's the time, says Mahmoud. So over here in the UK, it is 11:45 in the morning, and the draw is at 11. So 15 minutes. Get your comments in and I'll read them out before then. Let's keep reading. Forest fan here. Why can't they just pick out a ball and then another ball, and that's who faces each other and so on? Yeah, I mean, it's like the FA Cup or the Carabao Cup, isn't it, Sean? You just like it like that, make it random. But no, it's predetermined now. And also, what we will know after today is every team's route to the final. So if I can get that up on the internet, it should show you that the bracket sort of... Oh, here we go. Look. Have a look at this. Where am I going? Over here. Yeah, so... excuse me, the bracket will open up and you will know who you're playing in the round of 16 and then who you get in the quarterfinals, the semi-finals and the final. But look, this is the Champions League. If you're going to be the best, you've got to beat the best. And there's plenty of good teams left. Not many easy fixtures on paper. Even the so-called more winnable ones like Bodo Glimt, they can be tricky. I'm loving Bodo Glimt as the underdogs in the Champions League, making their debut this season, I must say. Let's have a look at some more comments. Burgie says, who wants Bodo Glimt to win the next game? I do. We all want to see Bodo Glimt going far, unless you support the team that they're playing against. Let me just turn my camera off a second, because I've got a little bit glitchy. Give me 1 second. I'm going to deactivate. I'll be back in 1 second. Deactivate. Okay, and activate. Still a little bit blurry. Don't know why that is. But keep your comments coming. It should sort itself out in just a sec. Maybe it's because I'm on the wireless internet. Let's disconnect from that and just go for the wired internet. Yeah, bear with me, guys. My face might have disappeared. Well, it did. I'm back now, but I'm just trying to make sure it's not glitchy. In the meantime, do familiarise yourselves with the draw possibilities next to me here. We are on the wired Wi-Fi now. Let's disconnect the camera again. So sorry, guys. Let's just get this sorted before the draw does get underway. That should have done it. Give me 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. Boom. And there you go. He's back and he's not glitching. Go on, hit the like button to celebrate. Right, let's read out some more comments. GHGN says, hello, it's Johnny here. There's one rule I don't know if I agree with. It's that the lower seeded teams can steal home advantage in later rounds if they knock out the top teams. Yeah, it's a weird one, isn't it? It's just like the rules have plenty of holes in them, should we say, to try and not be too controversial. I think that's a point. I mean, yeah. Although, no, you're right, GHGN. You'd imagine the top seeded teams should get the luxury of having home advantage second because they've earned that in the later rounds. But I don't know. What time does it start, says Berg? It starts at 11, so we've got just over 10 minutes until then. There's 400 people watching. We're on 60 likes. Disgraceful. Hit that like button. We'll try and hit 100 likes before the draw gets underway. And like I say, I just want to see what you guys have to say. I'm really curious if you support a Liverpool or a Tottenham or a Newcastle or a Chelsea or whoever. What do you think? Knowing that you're down to 2 possibilities, who do you want? Who do you want and who do you want to avoid? There's a few obvious ones, like if you're Chelsea... Well, no, actually, I don't want to say that because that means I'm saying you'd rather play Newcastle than PSG. On paper, you would, but I seriously think Newcastle could go far. So let me think of a better example. Arsenal could get Leverkusen or Atalanta. Are they equal difficulty, do we think? Tottenham or Liverpool could get Galatasaray or Atletico Madrid. Yeah, both tough in their own way. Oh, dear me. There were some really fascinating scores in the playoffs, I must say, in midweek. Let's just remind ourselves what happened if you weren't across it. Some really, really interesting stories. So we had the big turnaround at Atalanta. They came from 2-0 down on aggregate to win 4-3 against Dortmund. We had a bonkers game at Juventus where they came back from 3 goals down to go level with 10 men, and then Galatasaray still got through in extra time. PSG won the French derby there, 5-4 on aggregate against Monaco. Real Madrid, 3-1 on aggregate against Benfica. Look at that, 7-4 on aggregate between Atletico and Club Brugge. It was 3-3 in the first leg. Atletico Madrid finished them off back in Spain. 2-0, it finished to Leverkusen after a goalless draw in the second leg. Bodo Glimt, 5-2 on aggregate. Bloomin' heck, fair bloody play. And Newcastle, 9-3 against Qarabağ. They did all the damage, of course, in the first leg. They won 6-1 away at Qarabağ, didn't they? Oh, dear. Right, let's read out some comments. Morning, Matt says, super bizarre. Good to see you, Super Baz. Hope you're doing well, mate. What a legend. I'm a Chelsea fan, says Paul. Good to see you. Jaden says, I'm a Liverpool fan. Well, let us know who you support, guys. Let's see how many different fans we've got tuning in right now. How do you feel this current Coventry squad would do next season? How many players do you need to sign? Oh, John, I've got a pretty obvious answer to that. This current squad, without any additions, would finish rock bottom of the Premier League. And before anyone piles in and says, oh, that's really negative, that's just the reality. But we're not, if Coventry do go up, we're not going to not make signings. We will make signings. So let's see. It'll all come down to the business. Look, I'm not saying none of our players are players that can step up to the Premier League. There are some, but you need a big injection. So, yeah, the reality is this current squad on its own would finish bottom. But with some smart additions, who knows? We might be able to compete and maybe stay up. But let's get there first. We've got a Liverpool fan in here, Tottenham, Man City. Thank you to all of you for tuning in. Mr. Skeza is a Middlesbrough fan. Thomas says, I live in Bodo. There you go. Good to see you. What time is the draw? Someone has asked. 8 minutes. 8 minutes until the draw gets underway. And as I say, make yourselves familiar with the possibilities. Should I do a prediction for you? Does anyone want to know my prediction? I'll give you one. I reckon in the first one, we're going to get PSG versus Barcelona. I reckon we'll get PSG versus Barcelona, which would mean Chelsea versus Newcastle as well. I reckon Tottenham will get Galatasaray and Liverpool will get Atletico Madrid. I'll go with Real Madrid to get Sporting and Man City to have Bodo. And then I'll go Arsenal to get Bayer Leverkusen. And that would mean Bayern Munich would get... who would Bayern Munich get? Atalanta. So there's my prediction for what it's worth. It's a completely useless guess, but it might turn out to be completely brilliant or completely wrong. We will see, of course. Forest fan here. Keep up the great work, Matt. Yes, Jason, you legend. Well done to Forest. Of course, they are in the Europa League draw at 12. Good luck to them. I'm sure you will know who your possibilities are of facing in the round of 16. Of course, they got through 4-2 on aggregate against Fenerbahce. Newcastle fan here with fingers crossed for Barcelona, tuning in from Australia. I love that. What time is it in Australia right now, Samantha? It must be about 11 in the evening, mustn't it? Or maybe like midnight or something. You'll have to let me know. Hello, Matt, says Homer Gull. Hello. I'm a Mung Thong United fan. Never heard of them, John. I'll be honest, I've never heard of them. Right, there's nearly 600 people in here. Keep your comments coming. Did we hit 100 likes? We did. Well done. Thank you, guys. You are legends. If you've not already hit the like button, then you can become a legend by doing that. And feel free to subscribe as well. I'm not sure how we're doing on the old subscriber front. There you go. 1, 2, 3. Let's start pushing to 1, 2, 4. Hit that subscribe button for more content. And of course, when it comes to the Champions League, we do predictions videos every time there's some games. And I believe around the 10th or 11th of March is when we will get the first legs for these Champions League round of 16 games. And then the following week, we'll, of course, get the second legs. Right, keep your comments coming. Let's have a look at what some more of you have to say. They're in the Thailand First Division, says John. There you go. Fair play. What a legend for supporting them then. Where's Sophie? Asks Z. So she is on maternity. So in December, she gave birth to a lovely boy called Silas, my nephew. And I saw her yesterday, actually, and she's doing well. Hopefully, we'll get her back on the channel pretty soon, but as you can understand, she has priorities as a mother to a newborn child at the moment. Connor says he is buzzing for this draw. Me too, rubbing my hands together. I honestly can't wait. I know it's not as exciting when it's kind of predetermined, but there is still a little bit of randomness to this draw. So, yeah, it'll also be interesting, as I say, to work out who's on what side of the bracket, because, as I say, we have got the whole thing sort of predetermined. If I go back to this, yeah, so we will know who will cross paths with who. I mean, there's no easy route to the final. We've seen it happen before, haven't we, with the Champions League, where you can get quite a lot of the stronger teams on one side of the draw, where I'm trying to think what season it was. Do you remember when Man City beat Inter Milan in the final? What year was that? What year did they win the Champions League? Was it 22? Was it 22 or 23 maybe? It was 22 or 23. And that year I felt, I don't know if you agree, but I felt like a lot of the stronger teams were on Man City's side of the draw in the route to the final. So, yeah, you'll be able to map it out after this draw, which is coming in 3 minutes. 3 minutes till the draw. Do not go anywhere. And thank you to the 600 people that have tuned in. Leon says, Matt SB Army. Good to see you, Leon. Leon, what do you want? PSG or Newcastle? I feel like as a Chelsea fan, I reckon you'll rather play Newcastle, although you just sense it'll be tricky going up to St James's Park on a Champions League night. I'm trying to think what the score was between Chelsea and Newcastle earlier in the Premier League this season. Someone who's a Chelsea or Newcastle fan will let me know. Where have they already played? Did they play at Stamford Bridge? I reckon I'll find it. Chelsea versus Newcastle was it in August? No. Was it in December? No, they played at Newcastle. It was 2-2 in December. There you go. And I believe they've still got to play at Stamford Bridge. Yeah, hang on. So this could be really interesting. Chelsea play Newcastle on the 14th of March in the Premier League. Now, if they draw each other in the Champions League, that means they'll have Chelsea versus Newcastle, Chelsea versus Newcastle, Chelsea versus Newcastle, 3 games in a row in the middle of March against each other, with the 2 Champions League games either side of the Premier League game. Matt SB, if Palace wins the Conference League, then Glasgow will have more trophies in 2 years than Arteta in 7 years. Well, yeah, you'd be right, unless Arteta produces something this season. Of course, remember, Arsenal are in the Carabao Cup final. Are they still in the FA Cup? I think they are. And they're still in the Champions League and Premier League. So at this point, you get Arsenal fans or Man City fans saying, oh, we could do a quadruple. So we will see. Let's have a look. Newcastle draw Chelsea. Sorry, I just saw that comment. Yeah, they'll play them 3 times in a row. I hope Madrid face Sporting, says Adrian. Well, we will see. Guys, just before the draw starts, in 2 minutes, make sure you've dropped a like. There's 600 people watching, and we've not even hit 200 likes. So just a reminder, dropping a like, subscribing really does help the channel, and it takes 2 seconds. So please feel free to get involved. I cannot wait. I've got everything set up in front of me. We will bring you the draw as it gets underway. Yeah, here we go. Watch the Champions League draw as it happens. We are watching it. I wonder if there's going to be any delays. I hope not. You'd like to think this will get straight underway at 11 o'clock. Let's have a look at some more comments. We've got about a minute and a half until 11 o'clock. Would love a Spurs-Chelsea quarter-final, says Leon. Yeah, could happen if you start to map it out. Arsenal have bottled it, says Andy. Well, we will see, of course. We will see. GSGN says, if Atalanta or Leverkusen knock out Arsenal or Bayern, they can get second leg home advantage in the quarters and the semis. Well, there you go. GSGN does make a good case for how a lower seeded team can gain advantage over a top seeded team, which, yeah, some people will say is not fair. Let's have a look. Chelsea could end up being World Club champions. Gyökeres top scorer this year. He's doing all right, isn't he? I was having that chat with Leon the other day. Leon said to me that was, I think, his best performance in an Arsenal shirt. That performance against Tottenham. And Arsenal are weird, aren't they? You know, they had that that 2-2 draw with Wolves, and you think, oh God, what's happening here? And then they bounce back with a 4-1 win over Tottenham. Right, it has just hit 11 o'clock. There are 660 people watching. We will bring you the draw as it happens. They're just about to get underway. So, like I say, fasten your seatbelts and look at the possibilities once again if you are not already familiar. They've just said we'll be back shortly, which is annoying. So we're still waiting. We're still waiting for the draw. Let's have a look at some more comments. Spurs are poor, to be honest. Yeah, they are. Who actually thinks Tottenham will get relegated this season? Does anyone think there's a real chance? I think you've got to say there is a chance. Imagine like Tottenham get to like the Champions League final and get relegated in the same season. We've touched on this before, that it could even be the case with Forest. If Nottingham Forest win the Europa League and also finish 18th in the Premier League, the next season they'll be in the Championship and the Champions League. It's just like, how? How do you get ready for that? Like, you should be able to attract good players if you're playing in the Champions League, but not if you're in the Championship. Oh, that would be so confusing. Like, Nottingham Forest could have Barcelona on Tuesday and then Lincoln City on the Saturday. You could, oh, God, imagine that. If there is a God, Spurs will go down. Oh, says Blue Baron. QPR forever. Good to see you, Dave. Thank you for joining us. By the way, guys, we don't usually do Champions League morning draw streams on the channel, so this is something new. And if you like it, then like the stream, subscribe, show your support, and I really appreciate it. Let's have a look. Thank you once again for Dave, who's just tuned in, and he says, up the Bodo Glimt. Yeah, go on, Bodo. They are the people's champions. I don't think Galatasaray will mind either Spurs or Liverpool. Well, Galatasaray did beat Liverpool, didn't they, in the league phase? And against Spurs, I think they'll fancy their chances. Spurs taking the away trip to Bradford next year being a possibility is hilarious to think about, says Tom. Well, yeah. I mean, Bradford are not the smallest club, although, yeah, they could come up. Lincoln are a smaller club than Bradford. Bradford were actually in the Premier League in the early 2000s, weren't they? Anyway, right, let's talk about the Champions League because the draw is getting underway now. They've finished with the adverts, so we should get the draw now. Thank you to the 700 people watching. Get involved. When does the draw start, asks Zach. Now, hopefully, I can see the pots with the balls, and Pedro Pinto is the host. Hope you and the family are well. Cheers, Dave. We are. I hope you are too, mate. No one cares about Tottenham, says David. Oh, I'm sure the Tottenham fans will say otherwise, but there you go. Barca to get PSG. What about Chelsea versus Wrexham in Wales next week? Yeah, that's a big Champions League game, of course. That FA Cup game. There was talks, wasn't there, about a Welsh team being able to qualify for the Champions League. I don't know what that was about, but yeah. Right, here we go. The draw is getting underway. We will bring it to you. We will present it to you. We will react to it with you. But they're just taking their time with things. Bodo are going to win the Champions League. Imagine that. What time does the draw start? It's 11. So we're 3 minutes behind schedule. Like I say, keep your comments coming in the meantime. Like I say, let us know your thoughts down below. Drop a like and subscribe and all of that good stuff. We've had really good views in here actually today. For a stream that we don't usually do, a Champions League stream, can I say a massive thank you to those of you that have tuned in tonight. If you are still sat there going, where's the draw? It is coming. They're just doing quite a long intro to this. So in the meantime, I will read out a few more comments. Arsenal, 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 says Shukri. Barca to get PSG. The final that never was, says Elijah. Arsenal versus Mansfield in the next round of the FA Cup. The Gunners are away. Yes, they are. We will do predictions for the FA Cup 5th round, which is coming, next weekend. Yeah, so we've got Premier League games in midweek next week, haven't we? And then the FA Cup is at the weekend. So much football between now and the international break at the end of March. So get involved with all of that. I hope they lose to Mansfield, says Gurav. Like and subscribe, says the Blue Baron. You heard him. Drop a like, subscribe. Bodo are going to get Man City, says Brian. Yeah, we will see. It is a possibility. Man City will have a little bit of PTSD, though, from going to Bodo Glimt in the league phase. And as I say, a reminder, the Champions League has changed. There used to be rules that in the round of 16, you couldn't play a team you've played in the group stages. Well, you can now. You can play teams that you've already played in the league phase, and you can play teams from your own country. That's why Newcastle could get Chelsea, which I believe is the only possibility of an all-English round of 16 game. And we will see. They're still doing the intro. They're just talking about which teams are involved. Once again, fair play if your team made it. You've done well to get here. You've either finished in the top 8 of the league phase or got through the playoffs, which were highly competitive, I must say. How's your girlfriend, Sophie? She's not my girlfriend. She's my sister. If you don't know that, then fair enough. But now you do know. Sophie is my sister, guys. Where is the final being held? I don't actually know. Where is it being held? I don't know. Anyway, someone can let me know in the live chat. They're just about to get the draw underway, so here we go. Let's do this. Giorgio Marchetti, the UEFA Deputy General Secretary, is going to get this underway, I believe. He's just running through how the draw should work. Where are you from? I'm from Coventry. I think it's in Budapest, says Sar. Okay, there you go. That is where the final is being held then. So as I say, we're still waiting for the draw. Just be a little bit more patient, guys. I appreciate you guys waiting. I'm having to wait as well as you, but it should be coming any second now. Also, as I've said, in case you've missed it, we will know every team's route to the final after this draw. It will be laid out in front of us, so you know who you're going to play in the round of 16 and then who you might get in the quarters, semis and final. While we are waiting, guys, with the draw still taking a minute or two to get underway, give me your prediction for which 2 teams are going to be in the final. Comment down below which 2 teams are going to be in the final. Let me know. I'm going to say which 2 teams are going to be in the final. I don't actually know. Who's going to make it to the final? I will go Bayern Munich and Liverpool. No, I don't know, actually. No. Well, yeah, all right, I've said it now. Bayern Munich and Liverpool. I don't actually know if that's what I wanted to say, but I've just picked out 2 random teams there. There's a lot of quality, isn't there? PSG, Man City, yeah, Arsenal. Oh, I don't know. What do you guys reckon? Let's have a look. I said to you guys, comment down below with the 2 teams you think will make it to the final while we are waiting for the draw to get underway. Lots of you are saying Bodo Glimt. Go on, Bodo. Bayern Munich and Bodo. Bodo and Atletico Madrid. Barca and PSG, says Oliver. Arsenal and Man City, says David. There you go. So they'll be playing in the Carabao Cup final and the Champions League final. Maybe they'll play in the FA Cup final as well. Yeah, it's going to be at the Puskás Arena in Budapest, Hungary, the UEFA Champions League final. Thank you, GHGN, who's always on top of the information. What a legend. Real Madrid and PSG will be in the final, says James. Dave reckons it'll be Bodo Glimt versus Arsenal. Bodo win on penalties. It's incredible, isn't it, how they've grown into the tournament. Remember, guys, and I'm not saying I seriously think Bodo are going to win it, but remember in the Champions League last year when PSG were really bad at the very start of the league phase. And then they got into the playoffs, didn't they? They beat Liverpool, and they just got better through the season. And then, of course, went on to win the final 5-0, wasn't it, against Inter Milan. So although a team might not have done well in the league phase, they can go on to improve and stun everyone. I'm not necessarily saying that will be Bodo, but I don't know. It's not always the obvious candidates, is it? Guys, just another reminder, there's nearly 900 people watching and we have 200 likes. So if you are excited for the Champions League and you think this channel seems all right, then drop a like and subscribe. We're still waiting for the draw, which was meant to start at 11, but maybe that was just when the ceremony was meant to begin. Might take another couple minutes. They've got, is that Rakitic on stage? Let's have a look at some more comments. Man City versus Arsenal again, says Poetic Plug. Chelsea versus Real Madrid. Chelsea to win comfortably. GHGN reckons the final will be Arsenal versus Bayern Munich, first versus second. Yeah, that's a good point. It's Bodo's off season. They're playing friendlies at the minute. Didn't even win the Norwegian league last year. I know, it's just, I don't know. We will see. I think they're going to be written off in every game they get in the Champions League, and if they win, it's a bonus. So you got to wait and see. They are the underdogs, though, aren't they? Is there a team as small as Bodo Glimt left? No, there isn't, is there? They're literally making their debuts this year. And they were on the verge of being dumped out of the league phase until they won their last 2 league games. Right, what's going on here? Oh, here we go. Yes, here we go. The draw is getting underway. Here we go. Right, once again, make yourselves familiar with the draw thing next to me because the draw is getting underway and we will find out who is playing who. They're finally getting on with it after a little bit of waffling. Come on, let's do this. Yeah, we know the pairings. Arsenal and Bayern Munich together, Liverpool and Tottenham together. Isn't it crazy how Tottenham finished 4th in the Champions League? And they're literally like 16th in the Premier League. Oh, mental chicken oriental. Right, thank you once again for your support. Keep the comments coming. Hopefully this is it. This is where we get the draw. I say that, and I've said that for a million times now, but we're still not getting any closer to it. Let's just read out some more comments. They're just running through the permutations. 9-minute explanation. Yeah, I know. Well, it's a bit more than that. We've gone up to nearly 11:15 now. I'm going to put myself in a freezer and ask to get thawed out when QPR reached the Champions League final in the year 3000, says Dave. Come on, everybody. Like the video, says Connor. There you go. Connor said it. Screen share, mate. I don't have the rights to show you the actual draw, so you've got to put up with my face and me showing you what the draw looks like. But I'm glad you guys are here because a lot of you support the teams that are involved, and it's your reactions I'm after. What do you think? We'll see what you think after the draw. And we're still waiting. They've just got this. I'll show you what they have got up at the moment. They've got this. They've got this up. They're just running through the grid, or whatever you'd call it. What do you call that? It's like a spider's web, isn't it? Like where you find out who's going to play who. Bracket. Yeah, the Champions League draw bracket. They said he's doing the draw now. They should be doing it now. Here we go. Yeah, they are doing it now. Right, I'm going to get rid of this and I'm going to start typing down the fixtures. So, like I say, make yourselves familiar with the possibilities. Oops. Here we go then. After a bit of waiting, I appreciate your patience. Let's do this. Oh, this Still waiting. We know who the teams involved are. Oh. Still going on. Oh, here we go. Rakitic puts his hand in the pot. Which ball is he going to pull out first? Here we go. The draw is now getting underway. I'm going to move this. Thank you for your support, guys. Thank you for your patience. Here comes the Champions League draw. Whee! Rakitic is struggling there to open that first ball, which is fine because it's taken me a minute to clear all of this. Right, first up, we have... Goodness me, he's making a meal of this. He can't open it. All right, he's done it. Who is it? Manchester City. Right, Manchester City are up first. So we know who their two possibilities were, don't we? Have they got Real Madrid? Is that right? Is that right? Yeah, it must be. Oh, what a big game that was. So who was the other possibility? Man City could have got Bodo Glimt, couldn't they? But that's tough, isn't it? Man City, Real Madrid. So we've got an interesting one here with Sporting versus Bodo Glimt now. Or it should be the other way around, shouldn't it? Bodo. Oh, let's just put this. Basically, those fixtures I'm listing next to me is actually Bodo and Real Madrid that will be at home for the first legs. But you get my point. You know what I mean. So Man City v Real Madrid. Sporting v Bodo. That's not bad for Sporting and Bodo. They'll both think they've got a chance. They're probably two of the lesser fancied teams left. Next up, we've got Chelsea versus PSG. So Chelsea have managed to avoid Newcastle. Although they probably would have preferred Newcastle, wouldn't they? I shouldn't be saying it like that. So does that mean Newcastle have Barcelona? Oh, well done, Newcastle, in terms of getting a big mouth-watering matchup. Although, I say that, they've already played them, haven't they? They played them in the first game at St James's Park, didn't they? Was it Marcus Rashford got a couple goals? Right, we are halfway through the draw, guys. And we've got Man City v Real Madrid, Sporting v Bodo, Chelsea v PSG, and Barcelona versus Newcastle. I really like the look of Barcelona versus Newcastle. I think over 2 legs, that could be good fun. Next up, we have got Liverpool. And Liverpool will be facing Galatasaray. And remember, those two have already played in the league phase. I've run out of space. Let me make that a bit smaller. There you go. Not bad. You do think that Newcastle, Galatasaray, Bodo, the teams that are going to be at home first, have really got to win those home legs first, like I say. Next up, Tottenham are going to have Atletico Madrid. Interesting, isn't it? Tottenham v Atletico Madrid. Is that a Gallagher derby? Trippier derby? They've had a few players that have played for both, haven't they? So we've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 drawn out. And that means next up we're going to get Bayern Munich playing Atalanta. And I think that means it's going to be Arsenal v Leverkusen, was it? I'm trying to remember which ones I predicted. Arsenal will play Leverkusen, yeah. There you go. That completes the draw. What do we think? What do we think of that? That is the draw complete. Get your reactions down below. So we will find out in a second as well what that means in terms of the bracket. They're going to get that up in front of us. So the winners of PSG versus Chelsea will play the winners of Galatasaray versus Liverpool in the quarterfinals. The winners of Madrid versus Man City will play... Oh, it's disappeared. I can't show you now. Oh, there you go. They've laid it out. Madrid v Man City will play Atalanta or Munich. Newcastle v Barcelona will play the winners of Tottenham v Atletico. Bodo Sporting, the winners will play Leverkusen Arsenal. Now, if you're an Arsenal fan, I think you're pretty happy. I think they'll be the happiest with this whole draw because they're probably mapping out how they can get to the semis. Who's the unhappiest? I mean, Man City won't be happy to get Real Madrid, will they? Chelsea got PSG, which is difficult, but they were always going to get a difficult game. Newcastle have got Barcelona, which is fun. You do feel like Newcastle have got to win that home leg at St James's Park first. I don't know. What are we saying? Should we do some predictions for them? Actually, let's get your reactions first, and then stay tuned. I'll give you my predictions for the draw, for the games after the draw. Let's have a look at what you guys are saying. Like I say, get your comments down below. Drop a like as well. I fancy Bodo versus Atletico Madrid as the final, says Garav. Benny says, easy game for Bodo. I think that Bodo versus Sporting match is really interesting because it opens it up for both of them. I think they'll both look at that as winnable, won't they? Massive opportunity for Bodo, says Dave. Yeah, nice for Arsenal. I think they're going to be the happiest with this draw. I think they'll certainly be the happiest with this draw. Yeah, interesting, isn't it? Because we now know the bracket. We now know, and let me get it up so you guys can see it. It'll probably be on like the BBC or something. We now know every team's route to the final and who they'd have to play. I ain't got the bracket up yet. I'll refresh it. They'll get it up in a second. But in the meantime, let's read out some more comments. Arsenal to win everything. Look at that for a comment. That's it. They're going to win everything. Yeah, I just said that. Yeah, Greg from Derby has just said on the BBC, Arsenal with a great route to the semi-final. Yeah, I think Arsenal, knowing who they've got in the round of 16 and the quarters, they'll be thinking, oh, this is brilliant. So if you're an Arsenal fan, that means you can put a lot of focus into the Premier League title race for the next couple of weeks. That's not to say they're guaranteed a place in the semi-finals, but if they had to play like, I don't know, like a PSG or a Real Madrid or something like that over the next couple of weeks, that would really take the stuffing out of them when they're in the midst of a Premier League title race. UEFA really love City versus Madrid. Good grief, says Poetic Plug. Arsenal have the easiest game. PSG v Liverpool in a semi-final. Yeah, possibly. So that would be a rematch of, what was it, a round of 16 game last year, wasn't it? I'll get the bracket up in a minute, guys. Maybe I'll go on Twitter to get it for you. But keep your comments coming. Homer says he's an Arsenal fan. I take it you're going to be happy with that. Let's type in on Twitter. Champions League draw. Here we go. Is that it? Oh, no, that's not it. Oh, was this it? Is this it? I think this might be it. Thank you to the guy who's shared this on Twitter. Right. What do we think? That is the route. I mean, if you're Arsenal, look, like I say, you're looking at this thinking, oh, look at the 4 teams on our side. I mean, what's the hardest side? That's a pretty stacked side, isn't it? PSG, Chelsea and Liverpool and Galatasaray. That's a pretty strong side with 2 Spanish teams and 2 English teams. And that's pretty powerful as well. So, I don't know. Right, do you want to have my predictions? Let me know your predictions down below. I'll give you my predictions. And I'm sorry if I don't back your team to win. But this is my prediction, reacting to the draw. PSG v Chelsea. Oh, that's one of the hardest, actually. I don't know. I think Chelsea are capable of knocking out PSG. But, oh, who's at home first? PSG are at home first, aren't they? PSG have a higher ceiling. I think PSG have real good quality, of course. But, do you know what? I'll go with PSG versus Liverpool in the quarterfinals. I reckon, Man City v Bayern in that quarterfinal. Newcastle v Barca. Oh, dear. I really want Newcastle to win. but I think Barca might. I'd probably say Barca v... Do you know what? Wouldn't it be typical if Tottenham actually somehow win that, even though they're doing rubbish in the Premier League? Do you know what? For fun, I'll say Barca versus Tottenham in that quarter-final, and then I reckon Bodo and Arsenal in that quarter-final. That's my prediction. And then who would get to the semis? Oh, do you know what? The thing is, Liverpool are not in the title race. Can they put all of their focus into the Champions League, maybe? I'll back them. I'll be nice to Liverpool. I reckon Liverpool could get to the semis. I reckon... Oh, Man City v Bayern. I reckon Bayern could beat them, you know. I'll go Liverpool-Bayern in that semi. Barcelona versus Arsenal in the other semi. I don't know. I'll leave it there because I don't want to go all the way to the final because, yeah, there's no point. We don't know who's going to win the round of 16 games yet. But that is my early prediction. Let me know your thoughts. It's hard, isn't it? The Champions League predictions. They're so hard. I don't do very well with them, I'll be honest. At least I'm putting my hands up and saying I'm not very good at Champions League predictions. But anyway, look, we're going to sign off in a couple of minutes. That is us reacting to the Champions League draw. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Thank you to everyone who's tuned in today. Like I say, make sure you've dropped a like and subscribed. I'll be here for a couple more minutes. So if you want to have a comment read out, then go for it. If you want to subscribe, then go for it. I don't know where we are. There we are. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. And let's read out some more comments and let me know more of your thoughts on that before we sign off. Atletico just beat Barca 4-0. They did, to be fair, didn't they? GHGN says, let's be honest, in a two-legged tie, would you prefer playing at home in the first leg or second leg? Yeah, there's pros and cons for both, isn't there? If you're at home first, you can try and nail down the advantage. But ultimately, the bigger advantage of being at home second is if it goes the distance, it's at your ground. You get the penalties and the extra time at your ground. So I do believe being at home second is better. But it is marginal. I think some people make it out to be the biggest thing ever. Oh, we're at home second with one. No, it's not that straightforward, is it? So we will see. Right, a few more comments and then we're going to go. Come on, you Gunners. Let's do this. Why always early Madrid versus City? I don't know, to be honest. Thunder Elephant. Graham says, anyone watching the Europa League draw? I might watch it, but I probably won't stream it. But yeah, good luck if your team is involved. Right, you've got 30 seconds to get a final comment in. Oh, God, as I drop my phone. I will read out your comments. This draw is intentionally for Arsenal's benefit. And Dave says, thank you for the stream, Matt. Keep safe and well, everyone. And thank you, Dave. We always appreciate you tuning in. We appreciate all of you tuning in. It is massively appreciated. We've had lots of people tuning in for this in what has been the first time we've done like a Champions League draw really ever. I think we might have done one before on the channel, but we can maybe do this again next season. There won't be any more Champions League draws for the rest of this season, of course, because the route is mapped out. We all know who's going to play each other all the way to the final now, so that is it. Thank you to all of you for your support. Thank you, Matt, for a great stream, says Gareth. Thank you. Struggers, I'm chuffed with the result Tuesday. Hopefully we kick on. Yeah, as a Southampton fan, it was a good result. We play Wrexham away on my birthday. Can't wait for the draw. And Matt, keep up the phenomenal content. Thank you, Struggers. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. A couple final comments here. GHGN says, if Arsenal and Bodo go through, they'll face each other. It'll be like an indirect reseeding. Yeah. Right, that is it. Thank you so much for all of your support. The draw has been concluded. I'll just remind you of what it was. Make sure you drop a like and feel free to leave your support, your comments, and feel free to leave some support after the stream is finished. But it has finished with Man City playing Real Madrid, Sporting versus Bodo Glimt, Chelsea versus PSG, Barcelona versus Newcastle, Liverpool versus Galatasaray, Tottenham versus Atletico Madrid, Bayern Munich versus Atalanta, and Arsenal versus Bayer Leverkusen. That's it from us, guys. Thank you so much for watching. The Champions League round of 16 draw has concluded. I'll see you in the next one, guys. Take care. Peace out.